must be the greatest. I told the world, I thought the God ever gave. The best ever.
Welcome to the DL Boxing Podcast. I am your host, Coach D, along with co-host neighborhood hero Ryan Rios, where we talk about the sport you and I love, boxing. Welcome, everybody. This is episode 48. Man, neighborhood hero Ryan Rios, we got a couple great fights to recap.
Yes, we do.
We have a star-studded lineup to preview coming this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get into all that, we have a very special guest.
Yes, we do.
Let me introduce him. Coming to us out of the Zoom corner, he is the world's #1 boxing designer. He is the CEO of IGMOB, the future. Ladies and gentlemen, Javier Zinzun Jr.
What's up, Javier?
Thank you, gentlemen. That's funny. You actually said my last name right. That's usually something that everybody always has a hard time saying.
Man, well, let me tell you, I think I practiced it, brother. So thank you very much.
Sounds like it. Looks, you did good, though. You did good.
Hey, thank you for making the time out to be with us on the show, man. We greatly appreciate it. Listen, as the #1 boxing designer, Javier, you seem to be a very busy man. Can you just tell us quickly or however you like, tell us what is a day in the life of Javier Zinzun as we know it right now?
You know what the funny thing is that it's literally your phone never stops ringing. And it's funny because we were just talking about like they're like, JR, one day when you have your gravestone, it's going to say, I'll call you right back, just because that's how many calls you get on a daily. You know what I mean? And I can honestly say, like, even in the middle of the night, I'll get orders from like Paris or from like Dubai or from like I just got an order from Korea. Like it's funny because I literally get contacted like all over the world. So to the point where it's from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep, like it's literally just boxing and boxing designs and on the phone with boxers. Like today alone, like I was on the phone with Munguia, I was on the phone with Eddie Reynoso, like literally you just don't know. And I was even on the phone with Logan Paul's manager, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's literally like a constant thing daily from the moment you get up, and it's like your mind has to go in many directions because you're a designer, you're a businessman, you're the guy that's networking, you're the guy that's negotiating, you're the guy that's doing big deals. Like right now, we're working with Team Combat League. It is the biggest order I've ever closed in the history of IGMOB, which is 348 boxing outfits.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And that's literally, and people don't even see the behind the scenes. Like right now, they're giving me 4 days to do 50 boxing outfits, 25 for Team New York, 25 for Team Philadelphia. And then by next week, Wednesday, I need to have a total of 200 boxing outfits already for the next 4 teams that are going to be battling it out as well.
Wow, that is freaking to talk about being busy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Hey, but you're doing your thing, brother. Well, everybody sees the success that you've had right now, Javier, but as with every success, we have a backstory, right? And you have quite an inspirational story, Javier. Give us a little insight of, how you grew up, and through divine intervention, you were able to pretty much see your trade in the sport of boxing, involving the sport of boxing, correct?
Yeah, definitely. So the crazy that everybody always asks me, like, where was the big, like, 180? Where did everything start? To be honest, like, I grew up in Santa Ana, California, right here in Orange County. So I grew up in Santa Ana, California, and obviously, like, I think seeing my parents and how hard they worked always kind of made me also want to be a hardworking individual, because my dad used to pick oranges in the city of, Santa Ana in Orange County. And then that was during the day, and at night he would work at a sponge factory, right, making sponges. Now, what brought our family together a lot when I was a kid was boxing. So I grew up watching El Romero Baez, and if you knew that guy, he had the craziest haircuts, the craziest outfits, and that always grabbed my attention. Macho Camacho, right? Mm-hmm. He used to design his own boxing outfit. So for some reason, boxing was always in my family. But not only that, but to me, the fashion was what grabbed my attention. Like I remember when I was a kid, my uncle handed me a VHS, Slippery When Wet, Bon Jovi. I saw the way they were dressed, and automatically I knew I liked fashion because I paid a lot of attention to the clothes that they were wearing. So I kind of wanted to do is I was like, you know what? I want to bring this style into boxing, right? and at the same time, I want to bring boxing into street. So kind of like, you know what I mean? Kind of like swap them in a way. And it's funny because when I first started designing boxing outfits, there was a designer that came up to me, and I was using a lot of leopard prints and stuff like that. And he came up to me and he said, "You want me to be honest? I'm the best designer in boxing right now. I got all the biggest names." He goes, "Your brand is not going to do well because it's too crazy." You know what I mean? He's like, "It doesn't look old school traditional. Doesn't look traditional to boxing. Like, you're putting pockets, you're putting lights in your outfits. They're like, that's not going to do so well." Right. And I mean, the reason, and to be honest, that's the reason why it opened up the doors to so many different industries. But like how you were saying, like the turning point for me where I decided I wanted to become a designer was after, obviously you guys read my story after my overdose, February 17, 2011. Before that, it was literally the crazy life, idolizing movies like Scarface, Blood In, Blood Out, you know, American Me, where gangster movies really played a huge role in my life, where I felt like it's kind of like the movie, which one is it? The one where the guy says, as far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. What movie was that? But Joe Pesci's in it. Who else is in it? Robert De Niro.
Is it Godfather?
Casino?
No, not Casino. The other one.
Goodfellas?
Goodfellas.
All right.
So you know how he was like a young cat and he was kind of like checking out these old school, like these older gangsters?
Yeah.
That's kind of how like I was like idolizing them. You know what I mean? So that's why, I mean, if you grew up in Santa Ana, obviously rough neighborhoods, you know what I'm saying? I grew up around gangs and all that. So kind of all that kind of pushed me in a direction of like that kind of world. You know what I mean? Also, what you feel like you don't deserve anything, right? Like nothing was ever meant for you. And then obviously when you grow up, you know, you kind of get pushed in that direction of, I want fast money. I want the cars. I want the money. I want all that. And to be honest, all that basically got me into a lot of trouble. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I can honestly say, like, after my overdose, that's kind of where I decided to do a complete 180, right? Where I decided to kind of change my life around. And that's when I started the brand IGMOB. I got my own back, right? And at first, people don't know this, but it was actually a personal training brand. So I was teaching people how to box because I was boxing before this, and I was also doing MMA. So I was like, you know what? Now I want to go ahead and I want to make money, but I want to make money in a way that I don't have to look over my shoulder anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I decided to kind of get into more of a legit business. And yeah, I started with personal training people, and I wanted a name. That's what my dad said, because I remember after my overdose, my dad came in the room and he asked me, "So, you know, what's this brand going to be called that you're starting?" And I said, "It's going to be called IGMOB. I got my own back." It represents self-love, self-motivation, getting back up. You know, that's why I chose the Spartan as my logo, because the Spartan mentality is die trying. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to succeed or I'm going to die trying. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give it a shot, and I'm going to see how many things I can accomplish. And I did a vision board. I was like, one day I'm going to design for a movie. Boom, I designed for Creed. Right? One day I'm going to be working on shows. Boom, there I am at Netflix. Right? Working with Fluffy, the comedian, Gabriel Iglesias. Like, I do all the shirts he wears on stage. You know, and then out of nowhere, I get a call freaking from Michael Bay, the movie director of Transformers. You know what I mean? So literally this industry, like obviously working with all the YouTubers, and then Canelo, working with him, Ryan Garcia, David Benavidez, Jaime Munguia, like the resume, as you guys know, just continues. You know what I mean? And now I guess one of the things that I really want to do is I want to be the first boxing designer in the Boxing Hall of Fame.
Wow. Hey, it sounds like you're on your way, Javier.
Definitely on your way.
That's fascinating, man, because I think to myself, we, as fight fans, we're there to see the fight, right? And then sometimes, we think in our heads, his trunks, his attire is pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
But we never think there's someone behind that design, right, Javier? Like you said, what were some of the inspirations? Like I think you mentioned earlier, like Macho Camacho. So you took inspiration from the older fighters, Romero Paez. Can you talk a little bit more on that? Like what attracted you to that? Was it their personalities, or can you speak on that?
I honestly say I feel like every fighter has his own personality, and sometimes they're afraid to show it. So I like to show it through their clothing. Right? Because I feel like you build a fan base and you connect with the fighter when I did a Pokemon one, when I did one for Ashton Silva as a Minion, that one went viral on SportsCenter. But you would never think this guy's a huge fan of Pixar movies. You see what I mean? So one of the things that I like is the fact that, I'm going to be real, 95% of the boxers that I work with say, yo, here's the colors, do whatever you want. You know everything about me. When I worked with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., right? First thing he said was, he's like, just by looking at you, you already know what to do. I'm not even going to tell you anything. You choose my cornerman jackets. You choose my what's it called? My team fits. And I want 4 boxing outfits, and you do whatever you want to do because I trust your judgment. And that's what I like, the fact that I research the fighters. I can honestly say here on my couch, you have no idea how many fighters have cried on my couch, how many fighters have opened up to me, how many fighters I've bonded with. This is why it continues to grow, because I don't just go sell you an outfit here, have a nice day. It's like a 15, 20-minute conversation about the design. Then after that, it's a 2-hour conversation about life, who they are, where they are in life, where they've been, and where they want to go.
Yeah. You know what, Javier? I want to touch on a little story. Not only are you a great designer, man, but you're a great person. I met you at the end of a Virgil Ortiz fight. I remember walking out of the venue, and I want to say you were doing an interview with some YouTubers, and my wife goes, "Hey, who's that guy right there? He looks famous." And I go, "That's the Versace of boxing right there." So she's like, "You should go introduce yourself and, take a picture." So I did, man. I remember walking up to you and I took a picture, and I just thought it was going to be like a little high and by. And I was like, "Thanks, for the picture." And I was on my way, and you were like, "Well, dude, wait, who are you? Let me hear your story." And I was like, "Damn, bro, that's dope." And I sat there and I talked to you for a good 10 minutes, and I told you who I was. And we eventually got around to, I was telling you about the podcast and the Instagram. And I remember you had me your phone. You're like, "Hey, show me." And right then and there, you're a subscriber, you're a follower, bro. And I just want to say thank you, because fans like us don't get that very often, bro. And for you to do that, bro, that was super special, bro. And I hope you do that for everybody, because that was badass, bro.
The thing is, there was a gentleman too who wanted me to be on his show, and he invited me. He goes, "Bro, I'm not gonna lie, I only got 5 subscribers, 100 followers, right?" I said, "My dude, I want to be there in the beginning of your journey, so I could say, yo, I knew that man when he first started also, because when I first started, nobody wanted to open doors in the industry, including in the boxing industry right now. There are people right now, right, who now invite me to places, who now want to be a part of my circle, who when I first started, they were the first ones to slam the door on me. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I remember that. And I remember how cruel it was and how shitty it felt, to a point where you don't even want to continue in the industry because you see that there's no support. So if you want to set an example, you got to be that change you want to see. So that's why when I met you, I genuinely care about your story. I genuinely want to know more about you, because how can we help each other grow? And to be honest, this big deal that I just got is legitimately from one of my boys too, Madison and Mario. These 2 dudes, I've connected with them. We've sent each other a lot of business, right? To a point where you build a relationship, and now that's how I've been moving around in the industry. The fact that yo, genuine good dude right here, boom, 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 right? This is the type of guy you want to work with. So now even Rival makes boxing outfits, but I connected with them so well that now they're sending me all their clients. You see what I'm saying? And that's why, with you now, now that I see you got a podcast, I can even say, "Yo, bro, I recommend this guy. He's coming up. Check him out also in the industry." Boom. Yeah. And this is how we help. Unfortunately, boxing is a lonely sport, and you guys know it's a lonely sport. It's a broke man sport, and it's a lonely man sport. You know what I mean? So that's why one thing that I like to do is I like to make sure I connect everybody, because then we all cross promote each other. Yeah. And in reality, you know how they say it's lonely at the top? I tell them that's because you didn't take anybody with you.
Yeah. Exactly, man. And thank you again. I remember watching too one of your interviews that you did, and I'm not sure what interview it was, but you were talking about how you were a huge fan of Mike Tyson, and you wanted to design some trunks for Mike Tyson and give them to Mike Tyson, and you designed them the way you thought he would want them, but you never got a chance to give them to him, the trunks to Mike Tyson. Did you ever get a chance to give those trunks to him?
You know what the funny thing is? That I designed them for him, and the times that I've had an opportunity to go and meet with him, right, I've been busy. So that, even with Shia LaBeouf, I've designed some for him. There's literally a few. There's even Ice Cube's getting one of the guys from the Black Eyed Peas. So there's a list of people that have, that I'm going to be meeting with. It's just times wise, it's a little hard sometimes to, both of us kind of sit down and get a chance to meet each other. So I'm still looking forward to that Mike Tyson one, to be honest. It's just, I'm just waiting for the right opportunity where we can both actually sit down.
Oh, that's awesome, bro. And I called you the Versace of boxing earlier, but who's a designer you would like to collab with? And if you could, who would you design the outfit for, man?
Honestly, designer in boxing, or designer just in general?
Just in general.
Well, to be honest, I would love to. There's a really big French designer. His name is Philippe Plein. Like this guy, he's the one with the skulls and the bedazzles. And to be honest, if you know me, I like the bedazzles too. I'm into blinging stuff out. I'm a big fan of Philippe Plein, so I would love to do some work for him. And actually, somebody that I would really like to design for is, hold on one second. His name was the top of my head. Bronze Bomber.
Deontay Wilder.
Yeah.
Deontay Wilder, just because his outfits, they're so extravagant that I'm like, yo, I want to show him that I could do that level of extravagant also. Because in 2016, I was the first designer to ever light up a boxing robe, right? I was the first designer. My first robe was for Mauricio Herrera, El Maestro. And he was on the co-main event fight. He was the co-main event fight when Canelo fought Khan, as the first. He was one of the first TV openers when the T-Mobile Arena first opened up. That was my first robe.
Yep.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow. Hey, Javier, so being in the game, man, what would you say is the toughest fabric to work with? What is like? What gets on, that gives you the biggest challenge?
The sequence fabric. Let me go ahead and see if I can grab it real quick. The sequence fabric is the hardest one because it's got so many layers, right? Sequence fabric is this one right here, and it's the one I always tell fighters, please don't choose this one. It's so thick, and it changes colors, right, when you go like this. Like,
right.
It kind of does that, right? Here's another one that's iridescent. This is the iridescent one. So This is like the hardest stuff. This is what I tell fighters, please do not choose this, right? Because they are heavy. Also, I would probably just use it on side panels, but this is some of the heaviest stuff. But, I mean, they look nice on camera and everything, right? Like, they look nice on camera, but it's just way too heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I tell fighters, if you guys can, please do not choose those sequence fabrics. I will do them, but just not really a fan. You know what I'm saying? Can you pass me that white shirt right there? The white and blue shirt? And then, that one right here. And this is right here. This is actually my favorite short because this is actually Canelo sizing short. So every time I go to his house, this is the short I have to bring every time so he can do his measurements.
Yeah. Dope.
Yeah, very nice. That's dope, man. Hey, man, I'm going to do a little fun question that I just thought up here in my head. Let us know how would you approach designing a trunks for the tough and rugged
Marvelous Marvin
Hagler? What kind of attire would he wear, brother?
Honestly, I would probably do like a satin robe, all satin. Did you see the one that I did for Ryan Garcia, the blue one?
Seen them all of them, man.
The last one that I just did for him, the blue satin with a little bit of the velvet.
Yep.
Honestly, I just see, just because I like to go off with the nicknames also. Marvelous, you know what I mean? Yeah. So something that kind of looks glamorous like that, a little bit of satin, and I forgot which one. I actually did one of his shorts into a streetwear short because now it's one thing that I'm experimenting with is making fighters' old school shorts into streetwear shorts that you could actually wear out.
Oh wow, nice, man.
You know, it's funny you asked me that. I'm gonna tell you a funny one. Have you heard of Vinny Paz?
Yeah, Vinny Paciencia. Yep.
Vinny Paciencia, right? Good friend of mine. I always ask him, Vinny, what was the inspiration behind all those robes you wore? He goes, JR, you want me to be honest with you? He goes, a lot of those robes, I used to take them from the strippers. And I was like, wait a minute, so you're wearing stripper robes into the ring? He goes, yeah. I was like, yo, that is the craziest shit. That's what I'm saying. You get to hear a lot of these cool little stories of behind the scenes and of boxing outfits, and that's kind of cool, especially being in the industry and learning like the stories even behind them back in the days when they used to do it.
Yeah. I know you're doing Munguia's fit right now for his fight with Canelo. Are you also doing Canelo's too? Are you gonna have both in the main?
You know what the funny thing is? Canelo, I think he's still getting sponsorship by Dolce & Gabbana. But the cool thing is that right now I am working very closely. I don't know if you guys saw his last fight. I actually did Canelo's son's robe. I posted it also on my IG. I did his robe. But right now he's got a contract, and it kind of sucks because like me and him would sit there and design a bunch of shorts. I think we would design about 5 shorts for each fight, and he would just choose which one he wanted to wear. So he's just waiting for his contract to be over, because even like with Ryan Garcia, he did one with Amiri, he did one with Dolce. So it's kind of like when there's no contract, they throw me in. They're like, Jared, come back to us. We're just doing it for. Obviously, they're doing it to get paid. You know what I'm saying? Which in reality, you can't take stuff like that personal.
No, I agree.
Yeah, great stuff, man. Well, Javier, any last words that you want to say to the boxing world and the boxing fans listening, man?
Honestly, it's a hard industry to be in. I think the more supportive we are each other, it's just going to be a smoother ride. More doors can open up, and we could definitely all have fun doing it together. Like right now, I do a lot of work with a lot of my boys, right? And it's cool when we get a chance and we get to go on projects together. Like I work with my boy Mike, right, who's been doing all my videos, all my edits, and now we get to do work together where we go to the desert, we film some cool stuff. And my boy Cy Williams, who's a photographer also, he's a photographer for Elon Musk. A lot of his work has been seen with Ryan Garcia. And these are like guys that I've been connecting with to a point where we all go on these projects together, and it just makes it that much more exciting. And in reality, I'm gonna be real. When I'm with other people, I promote them and they promote me. So it's like we all just promote each other the whole time. So I think if there was more of that in boxing, it would be a sport where we could all, because in reality, it's the most unorganized sport. Let's be honest, right? like you see the NBA, you see the NFL, you see Major League Soccer, all those very organized. But boxing, it's like, nah, man, don't open up doors for that guy. Nah, man, there's a lot of like, what is that called? It's like a key holder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, gatekeepers.
Yeah, so there's a lot of that. So in my head, I'm like, you know what? If we all just continue to help each other grow, there'd be more people trying to do something with their life, right? And it's in reality, I'm gonna be real. Like I've helped a lot of people in the industry, and I will continue to. And it's like a lot of these fighters that I met, like David Benavidez, like Munguia, like these guys introduced me to other people that, like, I don't know if you guys see with Munguia, he's always with Mr. Tempo, right? The guy that owns the restaurants. Mm-hmm. Now Tempo, me and him do business together also, and actually have a meeting with him this week. And it's like they also connect me because of the love that I show and also the support that I show them. So if we continue to support each other, it won't be so lonely, and a lot more of us will be actually trying to do something with our lives. You know what I'm saying?
Amen, bro.
Yeah. Cool, man. Anything else, brother?
One last thing. If you guys do want to reach out, right? Because I have fighters that sometimes they can't afford or they can't purchase something, right? But there are a lot of fighters that have been wanting to talk to me just because they want to go ahead and open up. You know what I'm saying? Like I've had a chance to sit with Victor Ortiz, Ryan Garcia, Manny Pacquiao. We've talked about like mental illness and stuff like that. That's very real. So anybody that wants to reach out, a lot of the fighters, just know that you don't have to necessarily buy anything from me. If you want to just hit me up, I actually recently had a UFC fighter who said the same thing. Hey, bro, I can't afford you, and I've been wanting to call you because I want to go ahead and talk about some problems that I've been having in my life. You don't need to buy shit from me. If you want to just talk about life, whatever it is, just go ahead and hit that IG, and I always respond to everybody.
Dope,
wow,
bro. Thank you, man. Thank you.
That is such an awesome thing, Javier. Thank you once again for coming on the DL Boxing Podcast. I just want to extend my gratitude, and man, to have the world's #1 boxing designer on the show is just such an honor.
It's an honor, bro.
Dude, you're a real one, bro, and to outreach your hand to help people it's what it's all about, in my opinion, man.
It is.
So once again, thank you so much, Javier. And with that, man, we'll sign off, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a good night.
All right, well, it's time to recap the fights. And let's recap the fight between William Zepeda and Maxi Hughes. Neighborhood Hero Ryan Rios, when we previewed that fight, we said Maxi Hughes has no chance. And boy, we got the theater of what we expected, right, brother?
Yeah, you know what, man? William Zepeda just takes your soul, man. And he just keeps going. And no matter what you have, that resistance just isn't going to be enough, man. You have to definitely try to hurt him, dude. And if you don't, you're in for a long night. And Maxi Hughes was actually in for a short night because he got stopped in 4, man. And he took a beating, dude.
After 4 rounds, his corner was like, no more, man. No more. William Zepeda, what can I say? I agree with the commentator calling him the Mexican buzzsaw, right?
Oh, exactly, bro.
Dude, just nonstop punches, hurting Hughes to the body, just making him wilt. You can kind of see the pain in his face. Yeah. You could see his confidence just he's taking his soul right in the ring, man. And William Zepeda just didn't disappoint. Got to the point and took out Hughes inside 4. William Zepeda now improves to 30-0 with 26 knockouts, and he becomes the mandatory for the WBA and IBF sanctioning bodies. Where does William Zepeda go from here in a good stacked 135-pound division?
I want to see him go for the best, dude. And honestly, I mean, shoot, who knows? I mean, I would like him to see the winner of Tank and
Frank Martin.
Frank Martin, man, there you go.
Yep.
I would like him to get the winner and just make a statement there, and then the sky's the limit after that, man. But I mean, again, Zepeda could do anything. It all depends on what Oscar wants to do with him. But I mean, he's gonna be definitely avoided, bro. I don't see a lot of people wanting to risk that title.
You hear Shakur Stevenson wouldn't mind getting in there.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess fighters aren't really afraid. They're just, they
The
want
money
that bag, that payday.
exactly,
Always got to be right. You know what I was thinking? At 135, a great fight for Zepeda, William Zepeda, would be Emmanuel Navarrete. Vaquero,
that's
imagine
another
that
one.
fight, brother.
Wow.
That would be a barn burner. Fireworks
Easy
for
sparks, man.
sure. Right? We'd be off our
Iron
seat the whole
sharpens
time.
iron, dude.
Yeah,
so
man.
that'd be
Yeah,
crazy.
That would
'cause
be a
both
nice.
have that will, that desire, that dog. They have it all, man. The styles, angles, technical. I mean, everything is you check all the boxes with those two guys, and you're right, dude. That's definitely like a Amazon Prime pay-per-view right there, dude.
right, man. William Zepeda is absolutely must-watch TV. Never disappoints, man. I'm like, man, it's like
Brings boxing back again, man.
he does, man. He sees all the openings and precise punching,
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
But like you said, he stops Maxi Hughes inside 4 rounds. Congratulations, William Zepeda, on your victory. All right, brother. This next fight features a UK fighter by the name of Dalton Smith. Never heard of the kid, man. And, well, he made a statement in stopping Jose Zepeda in the 5th round with just a paralyzing body shot. You were telling me you've heard of Dalton before.
Yeah, you know what? When Bam was fighting Sonny Edwards,
okay.
Dalton
Another
Smith
UK
was
fighter.
in Sonny Edwards' camp, and I found out who he was and who he sparred, and even when he's out here in California, who he trains with, and it's just the elite, man. So when Jose Zepeda went against him, I'm like, man, this will be a test. But I thought Jose Zepeda was on he was the A side, you know what I mean?
Right. Me too.
But man, that wasn't the case, dude. And Zepeda's just a beast, bro. I love him. I've met him. I've talked to him a few times. And for Dalton Smith to do that to Zepeda, bro, he made a statement. And I just want to see where he goes from here because, man, he has a bright future, man.
He does, man. Like you mentioned, Zepeda has like at least twice the experience that Dalton had. And he has, he has a
Power,
punch. And
southpaw.
so this was a kind of a sink or swim for Dalton Smith, right? See where he's at. And boy, did he swim, right? He kept Jose Zepeda on the outside.
Yeah.
Nice distance. Zepeda being the southpaw, he was vulnerable for that right hand.
Yeah.
And boy, did Dalton catch him with the like I said, paralyzing right hand to the body, square
man.
on. Just froze Zepeda and had him on the knees for the 10 count. And like you said, it was very impressive.
Yeah, it was. And he was going, I want to say that most of the fight, Dalton Smith was going backwards, man. And he was throwing off that back foot. And when you fight off that back foot and you're going backwards and you're still able to produce that offense.
And control your opponent. Yeah,
exactly. It's very impressive, man.
I agree, man.
Super impressed with
Super
Dalton.
impressive. He's in the 140-pound division. I think he's probably a few more fights out before he maybe challenges, the top guys like Devin Haney.
Maybe Jose Ramirez, man.
Yeah. Why not, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But congratulations to Dalton Smith on your victory. All right, brother. It's fight week. It is fight week. And let's talk about the ESPN Top Rank card that'll be this March 29th, which is a Friday, out of Arizona. Stacked card neighborhood here around Rios.
Oh, man, it always is out there.
Yeah,
man.
we have some notables on the undercard, such as Alan Garcia, El General Emiliano Vargas, Raymond Murataya, Richard Torres Jr. Man, it's going to be quite a card because after all those fights, we still have the co-main event, which is Seniesa Estrada versus Yokasta Valle. This is a 10-round bout for the undisputed strawweight championship of the world. Seniesa Estrada is 25-0 with 9 KOs. She is the WBA and WBC champion. She will take on Yokasta Valle, who is 30-2 with 9 knockouts. She is the IBF and WBO champion. So the winner of this bout will hold all 4 belts and be undisputed. This one is going to be great. I look forward to this. And what adds to it is just there's some bad blood in this fight, man.
No, there is, man. And it's crazy because I think what's going to play the difference in this fight, it's not going to be the styles. It's not going to be the skills, man. It's going to be the coaching, man. And they both had the same coach, which is Gloria Alvarado, man.
Yeah,
and,
right.
And when I talked about, Anthony Joshua's trainer, you know what I mean? And how he had that IQ. It's the same thing with this lady right here. She's very impressive, man. And she's going to break down film and try to break down Estrada. But again, Estrada is just a dog, dude.
Yeah.
Like she just goes after it, and this is gonna be a barn burner, dude.
It is, bro.
And I think this is gonna steal the show, dude, because it's for Undisputed, dude. It's the women. They don't stop, nonstop action. Both of them want it, And I think that's what it's going to come down to. Whoever wants it more is going to win, man.
Yeah, and I think that just to add a little more detail on the bad blood, I think at one point Seniesa Estrada was signed with Golden Boy.
Yeah.
And I guess they couldn't get her any fights that maybe she wanted, so she was let go. And as she was, I guess, leaving Golden Boy signs Yokasta Valle, right?
Yep.
So, there's some little, turmoil there. And then, like you mentioned, Coach Gloria Alvarado, from what I heard, she at one point was training Seniesa Estrada, and there came a point in time where Gloria Alvarado had to make the decision:
Exactly.
do I stay with Seniesa or go out and train Yokasta? And we all know what happened there. She went off to train Yokasta and make her a 2-belt champion, which is very impressive. And so now they both meet, and man, when you hear these women, talking on the face to face, they're ready.
Want it, man.
They want it. Yeah, they're ready to get it on. Who do you see, or who do you give the edge to in this fight, man?
I'd have to go with Seniesa, man, just because of the opponent she's faced and what she's did to the opponents. I think she has a little bit better resume, but again, dude, Yokasta, man, has that dog, dude. She has that toughness. She has that grit.
Yeah.
She has that momentum, and that's huge. You know what I mean? So, man, this could be a 50-50 fight, but I'd have to put my money. I'd have to go with the Estrada just because of the caliber of opponent she's faced, and just because I think she wants it a little more, man.
Yeah, she seems very very adamant to get this victory, and that could be the extra motivation that a fighter needs to edge out this fight like this. I agree, man. If I had to pick someone to edge it or give the edge to, it'd be Seniesa Estrada, only because of the boxing ability that I see. I think she's a little cleaner with her boxing, but Yokasta Valle is improving fight by fight, and I think this will be each other's toughest test to date.
Exactly, bro. I was thinking the same thing when you mentioned that, dude. It's definitely going to be something you have to dig deep, dude. They're going to have to overcome a lot of obstacles. It's going to go back and forth for a lot of rounds, dude, and it's gonna be decided at the very end, dude, and we're all going to just be guessing who wins at the end,
right,
man.
There could be controversial. I'm expecting this to go to distance.
It is,
they both
bro.
have 9 knockouts. They haven't really knocked out anybody lately. But I'm thinking maybe a controversial decision that we see a rematch, maybe that kind of fight, because I could see it, going back and forth.
And you know what? Good point, because this is a fight where you definitely want to see a rematch, maybe even a trilogy, dude,
Right.
because they're that good, man.
Yeah, big stakes. Do not miss the co-main event, Seniesa Estrada versus Yokasta Valle for the Undisputed Championship. All right. The main event will feature former champion Oscar Valdez, 31-2 with 23 knockouts, against Liam Wilson, who is 13-2 with 7 knockouts in a 12-round junior lightweight bout. Neighborhood hero Ryan Rios Valdez coming off his loss to Navarrete. Liam Wilson, who actually gave Navarrete all he could handle, he's coming off of 2 victories, so he has that momentum going into this fight. What do you expect in this fight?
You know what? Even knowing that Liam Wilson lost to Navarrete, it still built that momentum because it was that close. And it's funny because I was at that fight the same time this year.
That's right. And
I met Oscar Valdez, but Oscar Valdez just has a work ethic, bro. Like, that's just like no other. And I see how he trains. I watch what he does, and it's just second to none. And I feel like styles make fights.
Yep.
And I feel like Liam Wilson doesn't have that style that Valdez does. And I think that Oscar Valdez kind of just takes it to him, dude, and he stops him, bro.
Yeah, I could totally. Yeah, that would be my view of how it'll go down as well. I just think the championship pedigree that Valdez holds.
You're right.
As long as he hasn't lost a lot of his confidence, from his losses to Shakur and the last one to Navarrete. And I'm sure he should be able to hopefully find the game plan to break down Wilson and just land that left hook or something to put down or hurt Wilson on the ropes. Wilson gets hurt, with shots while he's on the ropes. I think that's something that he could exploit there. But Liam Wilson, man, coming off 2 victories, almost getting Navarrete out of there. He was a punch or 2 away. I think he could possibly even land something to hurt Valdez. I mean, obviously, this is boxing. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen, man.
He's a big guy, too. I mean, bigger, he's a bigger...
he's definitely
junior,
bigger.
lightweight.
He's definitely bigger, but Oscar Valdez has the bigger fan, base there, dude.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he's got that crowd, dude, that just goes wild, man. He didn't even fight that night, dude. And
Right,
he just
that's right,
everybody
was there.
mobbed him, you know what I mean? And it was just crazy. And I remember having ringside seats, and Liam Wilson just has that pop, bro.
Yeah,
like every
right,
time
right.
he hit Navarrete, you just see the spit, the
Yeah,
sweat, everything
yeah.
just fly off him, dude. And
Yeah.
Liam Wilson's the real deal, dude.
Yeah.
So it's going
I
to be
can
a
see a back
very
and forth.
interesting.
Like
It's
a
going to be a back and forth
right?
fight. But again, I think Oscar Valdez wants it a little more, dude, and he's gonna put on a show. And then also, I think where it's at, it's gonna play a huge favor
Arizona.
in Oscar Valdez's corner. So
Yeah, good point there.
so I see Oscar Valdez wins by decision, dude, and unanimous even, dude.
Nice. I tend to agree with everything there. Neighborhood Hero and Reels. Do not miss Oscar Valdez versus Liam Wilson. All right, man. Talking about Amazon Prime pay-per-view. Well, they're going to make their debut, Neighborhood Hero Ryan
Yep.
Rios. And this will be Saturday, March 30th. Man, and do they have a freaking nice
Dude,
card,
crazy
right?
card, bro.
Let's talk about the co-main event, which will feature WBA junior welterweight champion Rolando "Rolly" Romero, who is 15-1 with 13 knockouts. He will take on Isaac Pitbull Cruz, who sports a record of 25-2, 1 draw, 17 big wins by way of knockout. Man, I'm looking forward to this one too, man. It's like
crazy
I hope
one,
these
bro.
are. Well, actually, they won't be. I was gonna say I hope they're not at the same time. The top rank will be on Friday, guys. But yeah,
Exactly.
but yeah. Anyway, Isaac Pitbull Cruz, man, he's a big hitter, but he's moving up to 140.
He is, dude.
So we don't know if the power is going to carry because he is a
Exactly.
small guy.
Yeah.
And Rolando Romero also is the bigger guy and also has a punch.
Crazy power, bro. Crazy power.
Romero's last fight was a TKO victory over Barroso, which was, kind
Controversial.
of very controversial.
Yeah.
Tony Weeks stopping it. I don't know, because he had to take a
I hope he's not
take a
reffing
bathroom
this
break
one,
or something.
dude.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
dude.
right.
With the Virgil Ortiz one too, dude.
Oh my
So
God.
hopefully they get a good judge on this one. Hopefully
Dude.
it's Popeye Ray, man.
Right? Yeah, that'd be awesome. So he had that controversial win over Barroso where he got the title that he's defending. And then Isaac Cruz's last fight was a split decision win over Giovanni Cabrera. A fight where at times Cabrera made him look ordinary, right? And made it tight to where it could maybe gone either way.
He outputted him a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And so nice fight of styles. Interesting fight with these styles. You got Pitbull Cruz, kind of like they call him the Mexican Mike Tyson, right? He likes to
Exactly,
bob and
yeah.
weave and throw those big shots over the top. Rolando Romero, unorthodox, kind of unpredictable in ways. How do you see this fight, man?
Dude, it's hard to call, bro, because it's very unpredictable, man. Because like you said, Rolando Romero has that power, dude. He has that one shot knockout power, like Zhilei Zhang did to Parker.
Right.
But then again, dude, Isaac Cruz, dude, Mexico City, dude, he's a Mexican fighter, dude. You can't ever count those guys out, bro. He has that dog. He has that will, dude. He has that everything you need in a fighter to just overcome all obstacles, dude. Whatever Romero throws at him, he's ready for it, dude, and he'll take it, and he'll dish his own. So this again, dude, I feel like it's close to a 50-50 fight. If Rolando doesn't hurt him quick, it's going to be a long night, and Isaac Cruz is just going to keep just coming and coming. And I see Isaac Cruz, dude, beating him, maybe even stopping him, bro.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that. I think whoever can take whose punch better will obviously be the victor here. And I see Pitbull Cruz being able to take Rolando's punch better than Romero can Cruz.
Yeah.
Even though he's going up in weight.
But again, him going up in weight might be even better for him because he could even get bigger and stronger.
Possibly.
But again, when you go up or down in weight, it's always that like, what if?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Right. This is the unknown, and we'll find out. We'll find out this Saturday night. Do not miss Rolando
don't miss this
Romero
one, guys.
versus Isaac Pitbull Cruz. All right, brother. And in the main event, we have the WBO Junior Middleweight Champion, Tszyu, 24-0, 17 KOs, taking on Sebastian Fundora, 21-1 with 13 knockouts. This is exciting, brother, because originally it was supposed to be Tszyu versus
Yes.
Keith Thurman. Thurman, who's been mainly a welterweight for the most of his career. He was moving up, but has been very inactive. So with 12 days before the date on this Saturday, Thurman got hurt, and in came Fundora. And I was telling you, man, that was like an instant upgrade in my opinion.
Yeah.
Although I did understand that, oh man, I wanted to see Thurman. Yeah, me too, man. But I think Thurman was more kind of tailor-made for Tszyu, especially at this point of their careers.
Yeah.
But I think Fundora poses a nice, better challenge.
Yeah,
to
definitely
Tszyu.
a threat, man.
He's someone that fights in that same division. Towering Inferno. What is he, like 6'6", 6'8"?
Something like that, bro.
Something crazy, right? And so. So he poses that physicality that Tszyu will have to overcome, and not to mention Fundora has a good pop as well.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, neighborhood here, Ryan Rios, is their last fight was against the same opponent, Brian Mendoza. Tszyu scored a unanimous decision over Brian Mendoza, and Fundora's last fight, which was against Brian Mendoza, he got knocked out in the 7th round, I believe, in one of the KO of the year contenders. How do you see that, man? Is that a mental
Dude, it's
thing?
just funny that you mentioned us talking about it because we were going back and forth, dude, and we were getting a little heated about it. Who's the better name? Who's the better fighter? And I said, I want to see Thurman against Tszyu because I think Thurman's the bigger name, dude. He has more to offer, and if Tszyu beats him, it's a bigger statement. But then again, I see all the stylistic matchup and how big Sebastian Fundora is, and how do you spar against somebody that size, that style? You don't find too many sparring.
Right.
How many days notice was
12
it?
days,
12 days notice?
Something like that, yeah.
So again, I kind of think about it and I'm like, dude, you're right, bro. Like I didn't think of that. And so right now I'm like on the fence of who I think the bigger name is now, because Sebastian, dude, is calculated, dude. He's poised, dude. He's calm, and I want to say he was beating Mendoza for most of that fight.
He was, and he caught.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very difficult to call, dude. And I think Tszyu has a big factor in his favor, which is momentum.
Oh, 100%.
And he has a lot of momentum, and he's coming for it, dude. And he. I want to say he's even looking past Fundora to get to Crawford.
He's talking a lot about Crawford and
exactly, man. So
that's not good.
I just feel like Tszyu, dude, just has that will, dude. He has that mental focus. He has everything in his favor to overcome. I want to say like a lanky, tall Sebastian. He's gonna go in there to hurt. He's gonna go in there to destroy. And I feel like Tszyu, dude, even stops Sebastian.
Yeah.
And I'm big on Tszyu just because who his father was and just for the character that they have and just how they're bringing up the sport. I love everything about Tszyu, but again, Fundora's a fucking threat, bro.
Oh, he is.
He's gonna
He
come in
is.
to kill, dude.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Another great one,
both
bro.
in super shape, man, and everything you said, 100%. Tszyu, I think that this was supposed to be like his coming out party in the USA.
Yeah.
Right. Tszyu USA shirts that were going everywhere, man. So Thurman, I thought was a perfect opponent for that.
Yeah.
This throws a little wrench in that
It
he's
does,
gonna have to
bro.
be focused, but I think he will. Eventually catch Fundora, obviously you're throwing overhand rights like how Mendoza clipped him. And maybe we might see Timber Part 2, right? I think Tszyu will either stop Fundora late or win a unanimous decision.
But honestly, I think this is a make or break fight.
It
Tim
is.
Tszyu's gonna climb
It is, man.
a bunch of notches, dude. And the loser's just gonna fall down to like they're gonna be just a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
So this is a make or break fight. Both fighters have something to prove. Both fighters have to win, and they're both gonna go after it.
Yeah,
Man.
absolutely. And like we said, Tszyu has all the momentum.
He does,
and so can't wait for this
Can't
fight, man.
wait, bro.
Can't
Can't
wait,
wait.
brother. Do not miss.
Amazon Prime, guys.
Amazon, that's right. Amazon Prime Video, their first pay-per-view. Do not miss Tszyu against Sebastian Fundora. All right, well, that concludes our podcast. Again, we want to send our shout out and thank you once again to Javier Zinzun Jr.
Thank you, Javier.
What an inspirational man you are. Thank you once again for making the time to be with us on the DL Boxing Podcast. Any shout outs you want to make, brother?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to one of my boys, Alex Burgos.
Cool.
He actually gave me this sweater, Burgos
nice,
Style.
man.
He's a young entrepreneur doing his thing, dude, just hustling, bro. It's nice to see everything that you're doing, bro, and keep it up, bro.
Yeah, that's fantastic, man. And like always, shout out to cameraman Liam, sound guy Rob, all our followers. Oh, I also want to let them know that we are now on Spotify.
Yes, we
So
are.
if you listen to your podcast on Spotify, catch us there. Give us a follow. We'll greatly appreciate it. With that said, I am Coach D, along with neighborhood hero Ryan Rios, and we're out, guys.